Hello fellow audio nerds, I'm Steph, and this is Major Hi-Fi. The format for this week's video is a little bit different because this week I'm on tour with my friend's band playing bass. But on the road with me, I actually got a chance to bring the newest headphones from Technica, the Technica ATH-MSR7b. If you know anything about the original MSR7, you know that they're sort of consumer headphones on steroids because not only are they great sounding, but they're very fashionable, they're super portable. So how does this new iteration of them sound? Well, let's go back in time and I will share with you how my experience was of them while I was on the road. Alright, here we go. Hey fellow audio nerds, obviously you'll notice I'm not in my house, but I did bring some headphones with me on the road. So yeah, I'm with the rest of the band now. Say hi, guys.
Hey!
That was very enthusiastic. So yeah, so today I've got with me the Technica ATH-MSR7b. Now, I did listen to these headphones before coming out here because I knew that, it wasn't going to be the ideal listening situation here. So let me show you what comes inside the box, but it's unpackaged here for me now. So first things first, we've got this a balanced cable. So the biggest difference between the MSR7 and the MSR7b is that the B comes with a balanced cable. So it's a 4.4 millimeter, and then it comes with another cable as well. This one is the unbalanced, the normal 3.5 millimeter cable. The headphones come with this nice pouch, and I'm pretty psyched on that actually, because it made bringing these along with me on tour made me feel better about it, because it's not just a simple drawstring pouch. It actually has a little bit of stability to it and protected the headphones quite well. And then of course here are the headphones. A lot of similarities to the original MSR7. At first glance you might think that they look exactly the same. There are a few differences though. One of them is that the headband, rather than being like a flat piece of aluminum, it's actually 2 bars of aluminum, so it kind of takes the weight down, I think, a little bit, and maybe makes the stability a little bit better. You can sort of see the shape of it there. And then one other big difference is that the cable is actually attached to both ear cups as opposed to just one. So you can see those ports there on the ear cups themselves. Other than that, it's pretty much exactly the same. The headband is it's got a little bit of padding here on it. It's quite flexible, and I want to show you, but I'm holding the camera at the same time. But the headband is pretty flexible. The size of the ear cups is pretty much, trying to get the sun out of there, is pretty much the same. The ear pads, here we go. The ear pads have a nice kind of spring to them, and the leather that coats both the ear pads and the headband padding is really soft and nice. So I was just listening to the headphones to sort of give myself a reminder, but I did take some notes on the overall sound quality. But in general, there's a really nice contrast between the low frequencies and the high frequencies with these headphones. There's a little bit of a boost right around the fundamental of a lot of kick drums, so in a general sense, kick drums tend to sit a little bit higher in the mix than normal, but there is a lot of really great spaciousness around the lows, so it doesn't really come across as being cloudy or kind of stepping on anything else's toes. In general, it just comes through with a little bit more energy and impact. For example, when I was just listening right now to the song Clever by Eric Badu, the kick drum does sound a bit louder in the mix, and it kind of contributes in a nice way to the groove even more than normal, because that's kind of what that kick drum is doing in that song. But at the same time, it doesn't interfere with the bass guitar, which is also making that song sound really groovy. So it kind of contributes to it in a more powerful way than normal. As for the mid-range of the headphones, it comes through with a really great sense of spaciousness, and I think the reason for that is that there seems to be a little bit of a dip in the low mids, and I think that's also why the low frequencies come through with a sense of spaciousness as well. But there's also another little dip in the middle part of the mid-range. Now, as a result, this contrasts pretty starkly, I think, with a boost in the high mids. So as a result, everything kind of comes through with a greater sense of snappiness to it, and it also kind of to my ears, comes through as a sense of, like, clarity, especially for things like vocals, and one reason why I really like vocal music with these headphones. For example, just now, and when I was kind of starting to test these headphones out, I was listening to the song When It Was Wrong by the California Honey Drops. Now, that song's very mid-rangey, and there's a lot of stuff kind of sitting in there, and yet there seemed to be a really nice sense of separation among all the different instruments. That said, the bass guitar, which was really kind of sitting in the low mids, kind of felt a little bit further back in space than it usually does. And then that contrasted really, really obviously to my ear with almost all the other instruments taking a step forward. So things like horns, the guitars, anything that had really kind of a little bit of high-mid energy kind of took a little bit of a step forward, and came through with more detail right in that part of the frequency spectrum. As for the high frequencies of the headphones, the lower treble definitely has a bit of a boost, and it's sort of funny to say this. In general, the high frequencies do feel boosted across the board. There seems to be areas of emphasis in the upper treble and the upper octave as well, but there are kind of intermittent areas of cutting in those areas as well. So as a result, the high frequencies aren't super accurate, but they do come through with a sense of, like, aesthetic kind of pleasantness, especially to instruments that have a lot of, like, texture to them. So, for example, I was just listening to the song Quizás, Quizás, Quizás by Pink Martini, and in that song there's a shaker, there's a güiro, there are bongos, and then, of course, her vocal, other instruments like strings, and all of those came through with a sense of, like, specificity to the individual textures of those instruments. The güiro, I felt like I could really hear, like, the individual strands of that güiro. Same thing with the shaker. Like, I felt like I could hear the individual, like, grains of whatever's inside the shaker, for lack of better words. Just, yeah, a nice sense of specificity. But if you are looking for something that is really accurate up there for more harmonically rich instruments in the high frequency region, these probably won't be the ones for you. As for the soundstage of the headphones, I actually thought I was pretty impressed by it, actually, because of the way the low frequencies and the high frequencies really contrast from each other. This comes across as a sense of contrast in the sense of height. Additionally, the sense of width really kind of actually felt pretty accurate. Wide-panned instruments contrast really well with center-focused panned things like vocals, bass, and those center panned things felt really, really even and truly in the center, making me think that these speakers and the headphones are matched quite well, actually. Now, the sense of depth is actually kind of feels slightly skewed because of that high-mid presence. It kind of gives presence to everything and actually makes things kind of appear a little bit closer than they are, for lack of better words. That said, I think, like, if things are sort of EQ'd in the mix, darker, the way that it comes across is actually really creates a nice sense of depth. But for things that aren't particularly mixed to be further back in space, it feels a little bit less accurate depth-wise. For example, when I was just listening to the song Lazarus by David Bowie, the guitars really kind of took a step forward closer than they usually appear. But that said, the bass guitar really contrasted well with the dryness of his intimate vocal. So it's sort of, I don't know, it's kind of actually interesting. It's not like the most accurate, but it is aesthetically pleasing and is effective. Additionally, the lows of the kick in that song and the bass contrast really well with the cymbals, with his vocal, which has a lot of high-frequency information in it, and that really creates a nice sense of depth. Of height. Anywho, I will meet you back at the Major Hi-Fi office. Thank you for watching. Wish me luck on tour. Say bye, guys.
Later, y'all. Headphones.
Overall, the Audio-Technica ATH-MSR7b is a great option for those who like pop music, hip-hop, even like vocal-centric music like folk and singer-songwriter. I think these are a great fit. There's a really nice sense of spaciousness with them, and the high frequencies feel really detailed and nuanced. it's not the most even sound signature, so I don't recommend them for things like classical or jazz, which require a little bit more evenness and a little bit more kind of accuracy for the kind of harmonically complex instruments that are in those genres. But if you like the sound signature that I sort of described, I think you might really like these headphones. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see another perspective on these headphones, check out the description box down below. I've linked my colleague's review of the same headphones. Additionally, if you thought this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And for more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Alright, I will see you next time. Bye.